Look at me.
Sure.
Look at me.
Sure.
I'm the captain now.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
And start praying. Start praying. What's the matter, boy? You don't pray?
Why Eldridge running?
Make him put it down!
Put down the phone!
The fundamental difference between, like, if you pan the camera now, it's like I'm acting and I want to go that way, I'm stuck, right? I can't go. But that gets out of the room and we have a light, whether it's a top light or whatever it is, it's not in their view and not in their way, then that actor now has this freedom. Also, nobody puts a mark on the floor. An actor who's more of an actor will come up and say, oh, so that's my mark, is it on the floor there? Is that where you want me to come here? You catch that? You want, and you go like, don't say that. You know, we put a little piece of tape down, it's because the focus puller needs to know the distance from the camera to that point, that's all. Not that's where an actor goes. So you've got rid of that. So they have that space, therefore they start to loosen up. And I promise you, I've done it with many films. I do it in all the films I do. Even if I don't have to, I will do that. I like the method. Then the actors suddenly go like, this is something completely different. You know, John Boyega in Detroit goes like, I know you've got 3 cameras in the room here, but I don't feel like I'm playing to any of them. I'm fully immersed in my character now. I'm playing the part. So actors love it. You know, that comment is used on every film I've ever worked on, you know. That they go like, this is just great, because it's hard going back to that thing of being told to hit the mark and, you know, and look left and look right, and, you know, and somehow you capture it, you know. It's not like somehow you capture it. I believe that every frame I'm shooting is going to be in the film, so the concentration is enormous, and the editor gets to look at it from 3 perspectives, or 4 perspectives, and then cuts together something that just feels more and more intense by doing it, you know.
Butcher shop, 2 o'clock. Dude has a phone.
Why is Eldridge running?
Make him put it down!
Put down the phone! Come on, guys, talk to me.
Get out of the way!
Your phone!
Make him put it down! Go get it! Grab him, Eldridge!
I can't get a shot!
I've not found that. I've found really nice people to work with who get it. Sometimes it's just a small amount of instruction that's needed. Like you always pick up new first ACs or focus pullers, and some come up to you and go like, I've seen your films and I'm really not sure what I'm going to do on this. If I can't have marks on the floor and you're going to handhold, and how am I going? I'm not sure. They'll say things like that. The great relief is you can't make a mistake. The only mistake would be not to try. Because, you know, if you're using all your skills and you've honed them, which these are all very skilled people, you'll find it. And yes, it will slip in and out of focus, but there's a dynamic in that. You know, focus is the best tool we have. You know, back to it's better than a dolly, a crane, or a tripod. Focus tells me more about humanity, because that's what we do. Our eyes do. It's what our brains do. You know, and I've added to that the zoom idea. The zoom idea is that you know, now I'm talking to you, I'm seeing this much of you basically, you know. But if I can see the two, I can see the whole room as well. That's just like the zoom of the brain, you know what I mean? I can do this and I can do that, and I can switch between you, and I can pull focus between here and here. You know, those are great weapons to use for telling stories, you know. Good. Yeah. They all love it. They love it because you've already told them you're not going to get the sack like you would do on a feature film where it buzzes, you know, an actor for a moment, just at that key point where they've done that just one moment of brilliance that will never be captured again. We're all trying as hard as we can. And then the styles come together. There's the other operators on the shoot. We kind of glance across at each other. Sometimes you might be next to them and you're looking at their monitor. There's a little monitor for you might pull the monitor around while I'm shooting this. 2 of you side by side, and you're going like, you just kind of, yeah, yeah, good. You're on that slightly wider one. I'm going to go in on. I'll be tighter. Then you might, they're tightening up. I'll go slightly wider. And giving options all the time. So you're kind of playing this. It's a bit like jazz in a way. It's like, if you put 3 musicians together who know what the vibe is and they would improvise, then it feels like that. And there's a real exhilaration when you do it. It's good. The great thing is you come across directors, and I've been really fortunate of directors who recognize you have something. And there's an expression, is like, Barry, just do that thing you do. Like, we tried it in every other way. Now, Barry, we won't use the other cameras. Let's start getting in the way. Let's just clear the set for a moment and just go and do it and see what you get out of it, And yeah, boom. Sometimes it's just great, yeah. And I love that, because that's back then. My mind is then back in a documentary where something really dramatic is happening, because obviously it's been written as something very dramatic. It's a film. Yet I've got that responsibility that no one else has. Yourself, the focus puller, the boom op. That combination is really quite fantastic to watch sometimes. Like the boom trying to get in there to get the sound, and you're completely aware of that, as well as all the things around you in the room. You're looking through the frame of the camera, through the lens of the camera, but your left eye is looking around here all simultaneously, sometimes taking your head away from the camera and still on your shoulder, sometimes running through fields, but put the camera in your hand, and I just get, there's another energy to it altogether. Kind of grip is also behind you, usually trying to grab hold of you, and you go like, there's a step coming up, and you go like, you're already over that step. You've kind of seen it through the lens. You've judged the distance you've got to go, and you've moved across over that. You might be battle scene, and there's bodies on the ground, and you're stepping over them, so but still concentrating on the subject. It's amazing kind of energy you get out of doing that. I do. The camera is just the most incredible tool. I'm reluctant to call it a weapon, but it is a weapon of peace and good things. You can attack fascists, and you can find empathy and sympathy for children who are really in need, and the camera is this wonderful tool for doing that. The subject into the camera needs another human being behind it, and there's a thing that I have, is a feeling of humanity, which I think has got to be in every thing you do in your life. I'm not saying I'm the only person in the world, it's just somehow I know how to handle the machine in a way, using a style of hand holding, using zooms and stops and focus pulls, and daring to not know what's going to happen but still capture it. Now I've been asked to not think about the story or what could possibly happen, or the difficult things that are involved in getting from A to B, and here I've now got the freedom to just do it. And I've learned that, I've shot millions of feet of film in countries all over the world. You find a way, that it's in our DNA. We look at each other in certain ways. We interpreting tiny movements of the eyes and lips and body language. You're listening to people's humanity without knowing what they're saying. Why would you rehearse it? The Ken Loach idea was not to do that. It's like, let's just do it and let's shoot the rehearsal. What can happen? It can go wrong. What's wrong with that? We'll learn something. That rehearsal might be the only real chance you get to go like, oh, that was really wrong, wasn't it? That bit there, like, it's much too bright. And whilst then the director has a few moments sorting out all the things that were wrong, you've had a really good, intense rehearsal. And sometimes it can be just the right thing and be the best take, And often directors go like, I know we've done it 12 times now, but that first take was just brilliant, Filmmaking is a lot about energies that you're picking up during the rhythm of a day, or the rhythm of a scene, or the rhythm of the whole film. And if you're picking up on the energy at the right place, then little magical things happen that nobody knew was going to happen. It's not written by a scriptwriter, and it's not known by the actors even. That's why it's cinema, because the camera that captures it. Once it's captured, it exists. From a no budget to, 120 million plus kind of film. If the method works, why would he change it?